Good morning, Derek. Trying to dial in some music here. Good morning, Mr. Marmars. Hmm. Well, isn't that interesting?
You ever wonder why doctors don't tell you what cabbage can do to your heart? What is it?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I was trying to dial up our regular music, and I don't see the link this morning. So we've got a slightly different music morning. We went for some nature sounds this morning. Sounds of nature. Good morning, Cyber. Good morning to everybody. Let me switch to live chat versus talk chat. Good morning, you guys. Who am I seeing here this morning? Gosh, I love you guys. Derek and Mr. Marmars, and Zozo, and Laura and Carrie. Good morning, Carrie. Four Leafy, and Anthony Hunt, and Mike Barball, Sarah Bear, Cyber Jolie. Good morning. Do you like the music so far? B. Hendrix, the Hills are alive. Do you like the music so far? It's pretty cute video of the music. It's a bunch of animals out in the forest. Let me see. I'm glad, Sarah. There's Pops. There I am. Aren't owls magnificent? I should put this on a stand. Aww. Who has a rabbit for a spirit animal? A snow bunny. Walter White. That's cute. I love rabbits too, Mike. fire rabbit. That sounds amazing. Good morning, everybody. Just a couple more minutes while we all join. While we all say good morning to each other. Big hugs, big virtual hugs to one another. Right, Derek? Mello has some bunnies. My dad used to raise them for food. When we were poor. You know what, Four Leaf? That's actually an aged plastic. It's just a clear plastic that's probably 8 or so years old. So it's turned goldy looking. I'm not cool enough to have a gold one. That's just like old plastic. Good morning, everybody. Doing the Dow. Thank you, Four Leaf. Doing the Dow. In our music morning. Antique brass, it does sort of, doesn't it? Wasn't that a spirit animal this week? That fella right there? Look how much fur he has on him. I kind of like this music one, this one. Queenie, that was your spirit animal right there, huh? We have cat this morning. Let's go look at our cat spirit animal this morning. The cat spirit animal symbolizes independence. Oh, what a pretty picture of a deer. Good morning, Green. The cat spirit animal symbolizes independence and curiosity and deep mystery, often guiding you to trust your intuition, embrace your unique, untamed nature, and find balance between rest and action. It's associated with spiritual protection, agility, and sensuality. This totem encourages self-confidence, adaptability, and healing. Key symbolisms and traits of the cat. It encourages thinking for yourself and not following the crowd. Mystery and magic, it's connected to the unknown, intuition, and psychic abilities. Kitty cats are psychic. Flexibility and agility. Teaches adaptability when facing life's obstacles. Cat spirit animal. Balance and relaxation. It encourages lounging in luxury, resting, and balancing work with play. Guardianship, often considered protectors of energy, absorbing negativity, and guarding sacred spaces. Cat spirit animal wisdom. Trust instincts. Encourage trusting your inner voice and navigating life with confidence. Embrace individuality. Remind you to honor your unique, authentic self. B. Hendricks, there are a couple of places online you can go and take a little test, answer a few questions, and it will tell you what you, based off of the answers, what your spirit animal is. How accurate it is overall, I don't know, but I know I took the test, and I'd already identified myself with the owl spirit animal. And interestingly enough, the answer for my test came back owl. Back to the cat. Sensuality and comfort. Promotes being present in your body and enjoying life's comforts. Recharge. Highlights the power of the cat nap and the necessity of recharging your energy. It's getting a little loud. Pause. Okay. This is fun. I like doing it this way. Give me 5 people that like me playing the music with nature scenes while we read this. This is good. Common myths about the cat. Bad luck. While some modern myths associate black cats with bad luck, most cultures traditionally viewed the black cat as a protective and a spiritual guide. Spirit animal terminology. While common, the term is often a misappropriation of indigenous traditions. It is sometimes more accurately referred to as a totem or a power animal instead of a spirit animal. Let's look at the domestic cat and the wild feline. In spirit guides, the domestic cat focuses on the balance of the wild and tame, home comfort and independence. In wild feline, for example, maybe a panther or a tiger, there often represents a deeper, more primal power, an untamed intuition. Cat as a spirit animal. Very, very interesting. Look at, there's Pops again. I love owls. Every time I see an owl, I just want to, they're just so cool. There's so much I've been reading about owls. What a unique animal on our planet as well. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. What a calm way to start our day. What a calm way to start our day. Good morning. Got some wild hares. Who cares? Here we go. Good morning. Cleanie, they breed on your hillside. Wow. I want to be on your hillside. One of these days we're going to head to New York. Good morning, Melody. Actually, this summer, my sisters and myself and their husbands, my wonderful brother-in-laws, are planning a trip to New York. They're going to take Pops to New York. Remember I said it's on my bucket list? I've never been to New York City. So I'm going to be driving into the Baltimore, Washington area. And then we're going to take a train trip. It's about a 3-hour trip. And we're going to go up to the, as Pete Hendricks says, the Big Apple. And I think my sister has booked a musical or something that we're going to go see, and I'm going to try to catch a couple of the museums, certainly Central Park. So somewhere in the August, right, Cleanie, we're not going to drive, we're going to take a train and then just subway around everywhere. But I think she hasn't set the final date for us yet, but it'll be like late July, early August. Is that right, Herbie? You're going to go to New York City too? I just need to, Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building. Of course, I got to do those. But I'm kind of going to be following the crowd. My sisters are like, okay, so what do you want to do? And I tell them, you know what my answer is? I say, I'm a Ken doll. Just dress me up and take me wherever you want to go, Barbie. Okay? I'm the Ken doll of the group. So wherever they're going, I'm just going to float along. Okay? I'm going to just be a Ken doll. I've been using that term for years. Okay? Dress me up and drag me around, Nursey. Just what outfit am I supposed to wear? I'm not making any decisions. Ken didn't make any decisions. Ken just did. Ken just got dragged around. Oh, that's interesting, Herbie. Okay? So yeah, and they're like, oh good, now we don't have to add, you know how when you get a group and you're trying to get everybody to agree to do something? Take me out of the equation of worrying about what I want to do. I want to do whatever you guys tell Ken to do. I'm the Ken doll. It cracks him up every time I tell him that. Okay? It cracks him up. I'm like, don't forget, I'm the Ken doll. Okay? Yeah, Ken. Jesus Christ, I think you got that right. Oh, read Jesus Christ's comment. I think he could be right. Okay. Why do you have to put it that way, though, bro? Why? Oh, just dress me up and tell me where I'm supposed to go. I'm a Ken doll. Good morning, everybody. We just read about cats as spirit animals. Lovely stuff. Just lovely. Okay? I'm just Ken. Jesus, you cracked me up, broski. Oh, man. When you're... sometimes I avoid watching, even reading your comments. I'm like, I know, I'm not gonna, no. And then one or two slip through on me. Zoot suit. Do they still do zoot suits, nerds? Do they? I have to wear a fedora? What's this one? Everyone wants me to wear a fedora. You know what I like is the pork pie hat. The one that Walter White wore in Breaking Bad. That's my favorite style of a show-off hat. Okay? I like that. The old... do I have a picture of Pops back in the day? 1 second, real quick. Maybe. I don't want to take up too much time here. Just dress me up. Put a pork pie hat on me and send me. Did I have one in here somewhere? Oh. I took a couple of pictures pretending to be Mr. Hardcore Shroomage. Oh, where is it? Scrolling. While I scroll, you guys hit the like button, okay? We're going to dive into our program here in just a second. Let me see if I can find that couple of... I saved it actually because I kind of liked the look. Let me see. If I can't find it in about a minute, I'm out. I'll quit this. Let's see. Pops, you have way too many pictures. You got to get rid of some of these. Okay. Where is that darn picture? Okay, never mind. Never mind. I guess, I don't know if I have it. I don't have time to look for it. Good morning, Heisenberg Pops. Heisenpops. I know that's true, nurse. That's true. I personally would love to go back to the days when men wore hats. When, 40s, 50s, well, even way before, but just about the 60s, we stopped wearing hats. I don't know why. But I love um, men wearing hats. And we don't do that too much anymore, do we? Good morning. Right, Four Leaf? Let's put on the old hats that we used to. Not so much anymore. Like LA Confidential types, 100% creamy. 100%. The only hats I wear anymore is a cap. Baseball cap. Okay? Oh, there it is. Oh, you're the best. You're the best. Okay, Jolie just sent this because she found it from her. There it is. Pop's being completely out of control. Okay? Oh my gosh. Thank you, Jolie. Oh, that's cute. Oh, Pop's Shrooms. Oh, Melody, you have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening today. Jolie, that was nice of you. Thank you. So we're going to read an article about facilitators here this morning to get started. And I'm going to go on a rant. Okay? Walter White's good cousin, right? Not the evil cousin. Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. Your boyfriend disappeared. That's cute. Okay. Small rant. Maybe I'll do the rant after the article. Okay, and it's not ranty. It's just, I struggle. And more so today than ever before. 5 years ago, I didn't care who you were or anything. If somebody wrote to me and they wanted shrooms, I never thought it was my responsibility or concern as to what they were going to do with them. And I'm struggling with that mindset today. The more I understand the power of mushrooms, and I personally perceive them as medical mushrooms and not magic mushrooms, quote unquote, it's a little bit of a struggle for me. And yet I don't have the right to be anyone else's conscience, and certainly not their judge. But when I blatantly see that somebody wants mushrooms from me as a provider for the sole purpose of blowing their minds, I hesitate to be that person's provider. I completely understand and have experienced and will at Mushfests in a group setting, taking a couple of grams, which is a huge dose for me, and having this beautiful giggle fest among friends and just, but if I know that I'm providing mushrooms strictly for the purpose of tripping balls and just partying as hard as they possibly can, I'm experiencing more of a responsibility. No, Kim, again, I agree with you. Why I hesitate, because it isn't my right to make assumptions either, unless it's blatant. I'll give you an example, a specific example. Um, the problem is for me is I don't know people's medical history. I don't know where they come from. I don't know what their substance abuse history is. I don't know that I'm helping as much as perhaps continuing something that may not be as helpful for them as I would choose it to be. So it's a struggle for me when I know that it's just going to be for other reasons. Again, I'm just sharing this with you guys as a conscience issue. I would prefer to just tell someone that is completely apparent that it's just a trip balls to go ahead and find another provider, and I'm not taking it personal, and I hope they don't either. And again, Kim, I'll avoid the assumption, it'll be pretty obvious. You know, I feel that the more the more I'm learning, and I'm very, very close to being certified as a facilitator in 2 different programs now. I have an ethical responsibility too, more so than I've ever realized. And it's important. It's important. Let me read this article real quick, or this facilitator's point of view. Kimberly, okay, we're not at odds with each other here at all. I'm honestly just pointing out my personal struggle. That's all. Okay. Excuse me. No, I'm having a hard time finding the article. Give me a second. Oh, here we go. Check your motivation. The first step is to get honest about what you're using the shrooms for. Amy Charlesworth explains a common trap. Psychedelic therapy should plug you into reality with more presence and capacity, not become a way to unplug from reality by chasing the next journey. She's noticed a regrettable pattern where people can become addicted to healing and turn to repeated journeys as a way to escape. Adam O'Neill uses a traffic light metaphor. The green light looks like feeling more whole and having a strong sense that there is more to explore. A red light might be trying to one-up their last journey. Or if they're avoiding integration work and trying to stay in with the medicine. Melinda, what was that comment there? You want to be... No. See what... Basically what's missing in a lot of cases is there really integration work being done, or is this just, I loved that experience of having an altered state of consciousness. Now that is an occasion. That is a once-off or a once-a-year-ish. But when... An example. See, to me, the integration has to be important. This is me. I'm not telling other people how to think, nor am I judging. But I do have a responsibility to the medicine itself. into why my motive for growing it and providing it is, or what mine is. I had a gentleman reach out to me. What kind of shrooms do I have available? I answered. And the person replies, well, are they better than penis envy? The reason I ask this, person wrote this, the reason I ask this is I would take 5+ grams of penis envy and I'd get a really good body high and things would change colors and morph my perceptions. But it wasn't as intense as I want it to be. So what do you think if I took 8 to 9 grams? Is the stuff you're providing more potent? I don't know this person personally. I've provided to them once. And 5 grams wasn't really Kimberly, I understand. I truly do understand that, your point of view. I do. Do you understand mine? I wrote back. I honestly don't know about super large doses because I've never taken one. I don't try to trip hard. I'm sorry I don't have an answer for you. There was a little more conversation after that. I'm just explaining to you a struggle. Could you understand the struggle as somebody that's more interested in seeing mushrooms as medicine? There are plenty of people out there that would provide to you. I agree, Kim. We're not arguing. Not for one moment are we arguing at all. And I respect your point of view. But the more I'm learning, and the more I'm wanting to be a healer and a provider, I'm not as interested in turning mushrooms into a party drug. Now, if I'd heard that there were major intentions, if I'd heard that there was integration following these extremely large doses, I would understand. But if it's just about I want to get higher, that is what facilitator would call a red flag. Melinda Halpern turns the question around. Maybe ask the question, what's the hurry? Often desperation drives moving into another journey as opposed to diving deeper into integration. If psychedelic insights are not translating into behavior change between sessions, that's usually a sign to slow down. Integration is medicine. If there's one thing these facilitators want you to internalize, it's that medicine sessions are closer to the starting line than the finish line. Jamie Blackburn reminds us that one meaningful experience can be integrated for a lifetime. She encourages people to ask themselves, am I embodying what I learned? Has my life shifted? Sometimes the medicine is another journey. Sometimes it's living the last one fully. Aaron Witter offers the practical gut check. If you never journeyed again, what work is in front of you? The list is long, and integration is calling. Char McKendrick compares integration to gardening. Like roots taking hold in new soil. Real change happens quietly over time, through patience and steady care. Now, somebody just mentioned, I think, well, it's their response. I mean, whatever they do with it is their business. Okay, tell that to somebody that's selling fentanyl. Tell that to somebody that's selling fentanyl. Tell that to somebody that's selling oxycodone for pain. And the same person's coming back week after week asking for more oxycodone pills. And the doctors are giving them to them. Oh, you need more? See, oxycodone is a pain reliever. And used in small doses for the appropriate reasons, you get it. But if you're a provider and that you know that that person is overusing, do you have a responsibility to at least address it? And we're on the frontier here. We're on the frontier. And I'm choosing the side that says I don't want to actively endorse abuse. I want to actively endorse shrooms. Taking a shroom isn't a magic pill and all of a sudden your problem gets better. I'll give you an example. I'm working with a lady who's microdosing, who's is battling obesity. And she's using microdoses to battle her obesity. Microdosing. And as we're conversing with one another, her explanation is, as we talk, I'm telling her, taking a mushroom isn't going to stop you from overeating. What we're finding is that what it does is it changes brain talk on a small microdose scale. Your brain changes the way it talks. And you don't have to white knuckle through. And you don't have to grind your teeth through as you're working on this addiction problem. And her addiction is to sugar. So to change the brain and have an intention makes complete sense. The gambling, I'm working with another fellow, gambling addictions. He isn't out gambling. He hasn't gambled in the last year and a half as a result of microdosing. Because he wakes up in the morning, he changes his mood, his brain stops needing to go out and catch that gambling high. The adrenaline that comes with it, and the loss of money and loss of families and relationships as a result of it. That's intention. That's intention. Microdosing with an intention. Typically, if I microdose, my intention is to be more creative. I'm feeling a creative lapse. It's a difficult subject because not everybody's going to agree with me, but at the same time, I'm not here to be agreed with. Okay? I'm not here to be agreed with. I'm here to tell you my point of view. Don't be discouraged if your integration process isn't linear, Francesca Liu says. Doesn't always feel inspiring or clear. It's in how you relate to yourself and others. If things feel messy, you're doing it wrong. That might be a sign that the medicine is still working. People get addicted to the journey. We do. We just change our, okay, well, that gives me a really nice journey. Okay, you have the right to do that. And I have the right to ask you to find a different provider. Close one door before opening another. When's the right time to go back and have another trip? Terry Shelton recommends another session if the person is emotionally grounded and curious and is able to clearly articulate their previous experience and link embodied change. And if they feel called or pulled, rather than trying to push. Clayton X says, if significant work is already being done to take responsibility for life and change what you can, then another session can be warranted. Otherwise, another psychedelic session is not necessarily going to work for you. Sarah Gale says, this is what a clear picture of readiness looks like. You feel relatively grounded and resourced. Previous insights are being translated into concrete behavioral or lifestyle changes. And the work feels complete rather than unfinished. Michelle Harrell sums it up. If you feel grounded, clear, and genuinely ready to explore a new intention, it might be the right time to journey again. Now again, you have a right to your opinions here. And I work, like I opened up this topic with, I struggle because I also want to live a life that observes the third agreement of not making an assumption about what people's purposes are. But I am intelligent enough to be able to read directly from a line that's telling me I need a bigger trip. I wrote back to that same person. I said, is there intention involved in any of this journeying? I didn't even say journeying, I said tripping. And the person replied, what is intention? Is that a red flag? Is that a red flag? As somebody that is labored long and hard, 5 years now, to be an ethical provider, and now learning more and more and how to coach people and work with them in their intentions and then afterwards in their integration. So I have to make choices. And I'm putting it out there to you guys too, to just consider. Okay? Pops, have you said enough about this? Yes. Yes, I have said enough. Okay. Let's move on to another topic. But you know what? I sit here every day and I'm a mouthpiece and a face for the psychedelic movement and for the power of plant medicine, I feel an obligation to give you my point of view on these things. I am not telling anybody that they're right or they're wrong, and I'm not even judging that individual. I'm just reading what they say and deciding, do I want to be involved? Give me 5 people that get that. Just 5. Canito, we have to have this conversation once in a while. It's not the easiest one because people are, oh, Pops is up on his white throne and judge. Anybody could take as much as they want anytime they want. Then they can. And they absolutely can. And I can absolutely say there are other providers that'll meet your needs. And do it kindly and peacefully and not judgmentally. We talk about virtue here. The last couple of days we've been hitting in the Tao Te Ching. We've been hitting the concept of virtue. Give me a second. Dictionary says virtue is behavior showing a higher moral standard. What's the meaning of virtue? It's a trait of excellence. Thank you guys for listening to I told you I was going to go on a rant this morning. I told you I was ranting. Rant over. Let's finish up today with a nice reading of the Tao Te Ching. But first, let's look at virtue. Pacers, what ends up happening, right? You take a little bit that's not enough. I gotta take more, and I gotta take more, and I gotta take more. Maybe you're taking it for the wrong reason. Thank you, Mello. Thank you. We could go on about this, but it's, I think you've heard what I had to say. I've spent more time on it than I absolutely planned. Okay? A virtue is a trait of excellence, including traits that may be moral, social, or intellectual. The cultivation and refinement of virtue is held to be the good of humanity, and thus it's valued as an end purpose of life or a foundational principle of being. Virtue. Am I living a virtuous life? I sure didn't most of my life. I sure didn't. I lived a profit-filled life. I lived an attention-filled life. I lived a life grasping, pushing. The 60th verse of the Tao Te Ching. I like that bit, B. Hendricks. The 60th verse. Governing a large county is like frying a small fish. You spoil it with too much poking. Approach the universe with the Tao, and evil will have no power. Not that evil is not powerful, but its power will not be used to harm others. Not only will it not do harm to others, but the sage himself is protected. If only the ruler and his people would refrain from harming each other, all the benefits of life would accumulate in the kingdom. Your assignment in this verse is to change the way you view the presence of evil in your personal world, as well as the entire planet. You can do so by acquiring an inner awareness that evil simply can't impact you if you're centered within the protective net of the Tao. If you live in accordance with the Great Way, refusing to have an injurious thought or actions directed either towards yourself or others, then the powers of wickedness and wrongdoing will be rendered impotent. The Tao isn't about destruction or visiting harm on anyone. Rather, it gives sustaining energy to everyone, without exception. When people violate this principle, they're only successful when others respond in kind. It takes two to tango. This is when war erupts and dissension becomes present in the family and in the community. Negativity begets more negativity. And the leader or ruler will ultimately be destroyed as the larger groups falling into chaos. Update your viewpoint on the presence of malevolence in the world. Emphatically affirm, my loved ones and I will not be impacted by the presence of evil anywhere in the world. Your inner landscape will immediately begin to change. So when you hear reports of violent thinking and action, your immediate reaction must be, wait for the second agreement. This is not about me. I choose not to have thoughts of harm directed to anyone by me. I am a being of light and love. And therefore the only thoughts that can emerge from me are those that are within harmony of the great loving Tao. In other words, whatever comes your way because of other people won't evoke a plan of revenge or hatred. That's because you've made yourself immune to negativity. Now, this may sound super simplistic, but imagine a large group of people thinking this way. And then imagine rulers emerging from this large group of people that think this way with the same kind of consciousness. Can literally change the world. Lao Tzu said in this, if only the ruler and his people would refrain from harming each other, all the benefits of the kingdom will accrue to them. Ultimately, our world must live by this principle, or humanity will cease to exist. And where does it begin? That's not a rhetorical question. Where does it begin? T-Crew? I'll look for an answer or two. For those that are dialed in. It begins with you. It begins with me. It begins with a single individual. That's right, Hip. It begins with us. And then we get a T group. And who knows how large groups can become. As Tao awareness grows one person, one family, one community, and one country at a time, priorities will shift. Our energies will go into building more environmentally sensitive vehicles and homes rather than instruments that reflect a belief that we can do whatever we want on this planet without repercussions. We'll find a way to destroy the stockpiles of unimaginably horrendous weapons of mass destruction. Cooperation will replace hatred and thoughts of harm. It will come about, Lao Tzu says, when rulers and people change the way they think about harming each other. When I'm providing something that I don't think is being integrated, I feel like I'm harming people. As you examine this passage of the Tao Te Ching, see how it can impact your daily life. When negativity feels like it's directed right at you, retreat to that place of kindness and love within and deflect that energy. Remember this. Remember this. It's impossible to pick a fight with someone who refuses to fight. Husbands and wives, employers and disgruntled employees. It starts with us. It's impossible to start a fight with somebody who refuses to fight. Your refusal to enter into battle is your most potent weapon against evil. You can change an angry person's attempt to inflict harm by refusing to lower yourself to that level of abusive thinking. From an enraged curse, a motorist's curse, to outbursts that are easily shifted when you stay centered inwardly. Become immune to such a harmful thinking and actions by knowing that it isn't about you. "2,500 years ago, Lao Tzu told us, hurtful behavior can be rendered impotent if enough people were willing to live in ways that encourage cooperation and a spirit of love, replacing competition and revenge. Bolster your immunity by controlling yourself in an atmosphere of noxious thinking. Catch your judgmental thoughts. Catch your critical thoughts of others. Disperse them and replace them with kindness, compassion, thoughtfulness to the health of the person. As you watch them become enraged and you engage, you're actually helping them destroy themselves. What does a virtuous man or woman do? I'm going to read some quotes to close out this week. You guys, I'm not sitting in a throne of judgment on anybody. I'm a learner. I'm on my path. I'm describing my path mostly. Virtue consists not in abstaining from vice, but in not desiring it. You don't just avoid it, You don't desire it. The greatest minds are capable of the greatest vices as well as the greatest virtues. Which are we choosing? I feel that it is vital that we all reopen our spiritual gifts and open up to the voice of the divine. Very often, what God first helps us towards is not the virtue itself, but the power to keep trying and try again. That's what's called practice. Courage is the first virtue that makes all other virtues possible. When I read that quote to myself last night, and I started evaluating myself, I was like, there's a subject I've avoided for a little while. It's going to take a little courage. I'm going to have to talk about it. That was today. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but it's the parent of all the others. I'm going to say that one again. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but it's the parent of all others. The purpose of life is contained within character. The more the character cultivates, the clearer the purpose becomes. A couple more. It has been my experience, Abraham Lincoln says. Abraham Lincoln said this: it has been my experience that folks who have no vices have very few virtues. A virtue never tested is no virtue at all. That's what that means. If you've never been tested, science is no substitute for virtue. The heart is as necessary for good life as the head. Virtue is an angel, but she is a blind one and must ask knowledge to show her pathway and lead to her goal. Virtue is its own reward. Virtue is a beautiful thing in women when they don't go about with it like a child with a drum making all sorts of noise about it. Glory follows virtue as if it were a shadow. Glory follows virtue as if it were a shadow. Humility is a priceless virtue. However, it takes a lot of self-employing to cultivate it. It's called practice. Knowledge is one thing. Virtue is another. And up here. Consider your origins. You are not made to live as brutes, but to follow virtue and knowledge. A virtuous life versus a brutish life. Let me close with this thought. Spirits and sages. Li Jing said this 2,000 years ago. Spirits and sages help each other. No, help people without harming each other. One is hidden, the spirit, and the other is manifest, the sage. But both rely on virtue. Spirits are spirits. Sung Chang Shuing says this. Spirits are spirits because they respond, but they can't be seen. Sages are sages because they govern, but they don't act. The virtue of sages and the virtue of spirits are the same. Xiao Chuan says this. If the state is meant to flourish, listen to the people. If the state is meant to perish, listen to the world. Virtuous life. Excuse me. I have all kinds of stuff written down here. Synonyms for virtue. Synonyms for virtue center on high moral standards, good character and doing what's right, including goodness and integrity, honesty, honor, righteousness, morality, probity, and uprightness. And the positive traits are compassion, courage. It takes courage to change, guys. It takes courage to change our point of view, our perspective. It doesn't just click happen. It doesn't happen because you took 10 grams of mushrooms. It happens because you practiced. And you're integrating the things that you learn. And then you go out and you practice. And your behavior changes. Then you're no longer the screaming, yelling, Mimi, Jeannie in your home. You're no longer, it's all about me. You're no longer needing to be the center, but being centered. It's so important. Compassion and courage. Diligence. Diligence is practice. I don't just think about it today and then I move on and I don't think about it again until the next time someone mentions it. I dive in. I'm not just saying me, I'm saying us. We dive in. We learn more. We gain knowledge. And then we put it into practice. The things we practice are patience. The things we practice become justice. Remember that justice is not having to pay for an infraction more than one time. How many times do you remind somebody how they screwed you over, how they did you wrong? Once. That's it. Anything more than that is not justice. Remember that in relationships. It was one of the killers of my relationship with my ex-wife. We kept inventory of how each of us had screwed the other one over. I don't know how many times I heard about the missed Valentine's Day. I missed Valentine's Day. I did. I messed up. I forgot about Valentine's Day. Every time I'm reminded, just drove a deeper wedge. Remember that. Back to, we don't do that to even to our pets. They make an accident on the floor, you clean it up, you give them a holler, you kick them out, you make sure that they understand they did something wrong. Tomorrow morning, do you wake them up and say, remember what you did yesterday? We don't do that. But we'll do it to the person that we love the most. We do it to our children and scar them for life. Ozzy says love doesn't keep score. Oh, God, that's good. Love doesn't keep score. Ego does. Injustice does. So let's behave accordingly. If any of this resonates, spend some of this weekend. Examine the thing about you're about to do. Is it virtuous? And avoid conflict. When you buy into conflict, I'm avoiding it. I'm avoiding the negativity. I have been so negative about our politicians lately. Because I don't, at the end of the day, I don't know that they're virtuous, that they're acting virtuously. And so I sit around and I judge it. I've spent an inordinate amount of energy being negative towards politicians who I have no control over, who I can't change their behavior. I can only change how it impacts me. And now, and I mean this, for the last almost 2 weeks now, since I've decided to practice differently, I've started sending positivity to people that I would never have thought I could be positive to. I could never have thought. I just see them as wounded, broken-winged. If I saw some little animal, a little bird with a broken wing, would I go up and kick it and tell it it's a bad bird? Or would I reach out and hope to mend it and wish it well and spend my time helping it heal? And our world isn't doing that. We start firing back at each other and creating divides and creating borders and then creating bombs. Remember that the people you see that aren't behaving the way you think they should, it's not about you. Send them positivity, send them compassion, send them kindness internally. And if you've judged them once, that's it. You can't keep saying it over and over and over and over. That's not justice. Well, they're not just. It starts with us. Okay. I think I've gone on long enough. Introspective morning here. Introspective. I want more virtue in my life. The older I'm getting, the more I realize what was missing the most in my life was virtuous action. That's what I'm going to choose today to practice. I hope you guys look at it this weekend when you're getting ready to dial into that thing that's negative. Ask yourself, is this virtuous? Am I sending positivity in the situation, or am I sending negativity? Am I engaging, or am I diminishing? Do you remember that word? Be diminishing. I want to get smaller and smaller. The first will be last, and the last will be first. Thank you guys for listening to me today. I've run out of time. This could go on. Just like my other topic, we can go on. Enough said. Pounding it into your heads. Pounding it into mine. Pounding it into mine. And you guys are just listening to me pound my head with these thoughts that I believe. You'll notice the difference. Your behaviors will change. I promise you. You'll become a completely different being. You'll be a being of light. You'll be a being of kindness. You'll become somebody that people turn to in storms because they know there's a peaceful place to turn to. Be that place. Thank you. Thanks to each and every one of you. You guys have to know how much I love you. Every morning, can't wait to come and see you guys. At night as I'm studying, I can't wait to share this stuff with my friends. And that's because you guys are here. And I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Go and do likewise, as many of the sages have said. Thank you guys. A great morning. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to miss you, but I'll see you Monday. Let's keep practicing, okay? I'm going to scroll you guys out of here as I say goodbye to each of you that I can see your messages here. HB, nice to see you this morning. Aaron, thank you. Thank you very much, my good friend. Hip Kitty, and Michael Maticus is here this morning. Good morning, Michael Maticus. Jimmy, all the way to the max. I'm glad you wanted to hear this morning. I'm not sitting up here telling you I'm great at it. I'm telling you I'm practicing. That's all I can tell you. Jimmy, all the way to the max. Mello, Yameka Mon, she's such a sweet woman. Yesterday, she was out in nature taking pictures and sharing them with us. She was walking through the Dow. FIFO, nice to see you. Bear, I love you. Cyber Jolie, kindness is not weakness. No, it isn't. Kindness is extremely courageous in today's world. Melody Dawn, who else do we have? Mr. Marmars and Ray Cook, cooking them up. And Slow Normals, thank you. I needed to say it. Thank you. Canito, thank you. Thank you. I hope you feel better. HB tells us that change starts from within. Many sages say the same thing, right, HB? B. Hendricks and Bear, I love you. Hip Kitty, You've been a doll this morning, a deer this morning. My sisters keep reminding me I'm not supposed to say doll. I don't know. It's my old-fashioned word. I don't mean to offend anybody with that word. Mello and HB and Joey D's. Jojo the Deezy. And who else? Cleanie. Cleanie's one of my great good friends. Laura, please have a divine weekend. Same with you, Kimberly the Golden Bolden. Kim, say hello to Mike from me, would you? And your mom. I think of your mom and the struggles she's had and that you've worked with her through. Have a fleeky weekend. Pacers is listening today. Good morning. Who else do we have? Wazzy. Wazzy the Wazolio is saying, hey, don't forget, we'll see you tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to church at the Mystic Journeys Church on YouTube. Paige, have a wonderful weekend. Hug your boyfriend from me. Truly do that. Say, this is from Pops, Shroom Digger, and B. Hendricks. Thank you, B. I'm scrolling to see who I haven't mentioned here. Herbie Von Werbs. Good morning, Herb. Thank you for always helping us here. And let's end it with one of my favorite characters. Jesus Christ in Australia. One of these days, we'll get him to the United States. Pops, peace, love, kindness, service, and grow your virtue. Thank you, Cyber. Pops out.